What if I told you that the wealthiest Jewish families in the world, families worth hundreds of millions of dollars, families who could buy anything they want without even checking the price, deliberately refuse to spend money on 7 specific things? And what if I told you that this refusal, this discipline, is not about being cheap or stingy, but is actually one of the most closely guarded wealth secrets in Jewish tradition? I want you to think about something right now. Think about your last major purchase. Think about that thing you bought because you felt you deserved it, because society told you that success looks like owning it, because everyone around you was buying it. Now ask yourself honestly, did that purchase make your life meaningfully better? Did it bring you closer to your purpose? Did it generate more wealth for your family? Or did it simply drain your resources and leave you chasing the next thing? I am going to reveal to you today the 7 things that Jewish families never buy, no matter how rich they become, and I am going to explain the ancient Talmudic wisdom behind each one. This is not some internet listicle. This is not generic financial advice from someone who read a book last week. I have spent over 30 years studying Torah and Talmud. My family traces its rabbinical lineage back 5 generations to Eastern Europe. My grandfather, may his memory be a blessing, was a rabbi in a small community, and the principles I am going to share with you today were passed down through our family like sacred inheritance. They are the reason my family survived poverty, persecution, displacement, and still managed to build wealth that has endured across generations. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what these 7 things are, why avoiding them is a spiritual and financial imperative, and how you can immediately apply this wisdom to protect and grow your own wealth. Some of what I am about to tell you will surprise you. Some of it will challenge everything you believe about money and success. And one of these 7 things, the last one I will share, is so counterintuitive that when my grandfather first taught it to me, I actually argued with him about it. I was wrong. He was right. He was always right. Let me take you back to 1991. I was 24 years old, newly ordained, and I thought I understood everything about life and money because I had studied sacred texts for years. I was living in a small apartment in Brooklyn with my wife, and we were struggling. Not starving, but struggling in that way where every month you look at your bank account and wonder how you are going to make it to the next paycheck. I was doing what everyone told me to do. I was budgeting, cutting coupons, trying to save a little here and there, and it was not working. One evening, I visited my grandfather at his home. He was sitting in the same chair he always sat in, reading by lamplight, and I confessed to him that I was failing. I need to stop here for a moment. What I'm about to share changed my life, and it's already changing thousands of others. I've put everything into the Jewish Money Code, 3 complete books with all the rituals, prayers, and ancient principles that wealthy Jewish families have protected for generations. This isn't just a video. This is the beginning. If you want the complete system, the link is in the description and pinned in the first comment. I told him I could not figure out how to get ahead financially. He closed his book, looked at me over his glasses, and said something I will never forget. He said, "My boy, you are so busy trying to earn more that you have forgotten the first principle of Jewish wealth. It is not what you earn, it is what you refuse to spend. Wealth is not built by addition, it is built by subtraction." That night he sat with me for 4 hours and taught me the principles that had been passed through our family. He taught me about the 7 categories of spending that destroy wealth silently, the purchases that look normal, that look expected, that society celebrates, but that quietly bleed a family dry over generations. I went home that night, and my wife and I made a list. We identified every expense in our life that fell into those 7 categories, and we eliminated them. Within 18 months, we had saved more money than we had saved in the previous 5 years combined. Within 3 years, we had made our first investment. Within 10 years, we were financially free. Not rich by Wall Street standards, but free. free from worry, free from debt, free from the cycle of earning and spending that traps most families. The Talmud teaches in Tractate Shabbat that wealth is not measured by what a man possesses, but by what a man does not need. This is not just a nice saying. This is a universal spiritual law. When you remove unnecessary spending from your life, you do not just save money. You create space for abundance to flow in. You align yourself with the divine principle of stewardship that has governed Jewish prosperity for 3,000 years. Before I go further, I want to ask you something. I want you to write in the comments right now a short affirmation. Write these words: I choose wisdom over waste. I choose legacy over luxury. Write that down. Say it out loud if you need to, because the act of declaring your intention is the first step toward transformation. The Talmud teaches that words spoken with conviction have the power to reshape reality. So write that affirmation now, and let us continue. Here is the problem. Most people are drowning in expenses they do not even recognize as harmful. You have been conditioned since childhood to believe that spending money is the reward for earning money. You work hard, so you deserve nice things. You got a promotion, so you should upgrade your car. Your neighbor renovated their kitchen, so maybe it is time for you to do the same. This conditioning runs so deep that most people never even question it. They just keep spending, keep upgrading, keep consuming, and then they wonder why they never get ahead. Let me tell you why conventional financial advice fails. First, most financial advice focuses on earning more. Get a better job, start a side hustle, invest in the stock market. But earning more without controlling your spending is like pouring water into a bucket with holes in the bottom. It does not matter how fast the water flows in if it is leaking out just as fast. Second, the budgeting approach tells you to track every dollar and allocate it to categories. But budgeting treats symptoms, not the disease. I have to pause here because thousands of you have already downloaded the Jewish Money Code collection, and the messages I'm receiving are incredible. People paying off debt, attracting unexpected money, finally breaking the cycle of poverty. These 3 books contain everything: the rituals, the prayers, the mindset shifts, the daily practices, the complete system. The link is waiting for you in the description. Every day you wait is another day stuck in the same patterns. Now, let me share the most powerful secret. The disease is not that you spend too much on groceries. The disease is that you have been programmed to believe that certain categories of spending are necessary when they are not. Third, the minimalism movement tells you to own less stuff. And while there is wisdom in simplicity, minimalism without a spiritual foundation is just aesthetic. It is decluttering your closet while your financial house burns down. The real lie you have been told is this: that wealth is about accumulation, that the path to prosperity is to pile up more income, more investments, more assets. But the Talmud teaches the opposite. In Pirkei Avot, we read, "Who is rich? He who is happy with his portion." This is not a call to complacency. This is a strategic framework for wealth preservation. When you are content with what you have, you stop the bleeding. You stop the endless cycle of desire, purchase, brief satisfaction, and then new desire. You break the chain. And when you break that chain, something remarkable happens. Your wealth begins to compound, not just financially, but spiritually. Everything I am teaching you in this video is only the beginning. If you are serious about applying these ancient Jewish wealth principles to your life, I wrote a book called The Ancient Wealth Code. It contains the complete system, all 10 principles that Jewish families have used for 3,000 years to build, protect, and pass down wealth from generation to generation. This is not theory. This is the exact playbook. It is available right now in the description below and pinned in the first comment. Go get your copy today, because knowledge without action is worthless. Now let me explain why these 7 specific things matter so much. Throughout Jewish history, Our communities have faced unimaginable challenges: expulsions, confiscations, persecutions. Every few generations, Jewish families had to start over from nothing. And yet, generation after generation, Jewish communities rebuilt their wealth faster than anyone thought possible. How? It was not because we had some secret investment strategy. It was not because we were smarter or worked harder than everyone else. It was because we understood a principle that most people never learn. The principle is this: true wealth is not what you accumulate. True wealth is what survives. What survives is what you protect. And the best way to protect wealth is to never waste it in the first place. The 7 things I'm about to share with you are the 7 categories of spending that Jewish wisdom identifies as wealth destroyers. They are not obvious. They are not the things that most financial advisors warn you about. In fact, some of them are things that financial advisors actively encourage you to buy. That is what makes this teaching so powerful and so dangerous to the conventional money system. The Talmud in Tractate Bava Metzia discusses the concept of ona'ah, which means overcharging or economic exploitation. But our sages expanded this concept beyond just being cheated by others. They taught that you can commit ona'ah against yourself, that you can exploit your own future by making purchases that serve your ego today, but rob your family tomorrow. Each of the 7 things I am about to reveal falls into this category of self-exploitation. The first thing Jewish families never buy, no matter how wealthy they are, is a brand new luxury car. Now, before you dismiss this, hear me out. I am not saying wealthy Jewish families drive broken-down vehicles. They drive perfectly good cars. Many of them drive luxury brands, but they almost never buy them new off the lot. Here is why. A new luxury car loses between 20 and 30% of its value the moment you drive it off the dealership. That is not depreciation. That is spiritual waste. The Talmud teaches in Tractate Chulin that Bal Tashchit, the prohibition against needless destruction, applies not only to physical objects, but to value itself. When you pay $100,000 for a car that is worth $70,000 the next day, you have destroyed $30,000 of value. You have violated a sacred principle. My grandfather used to say, "Let someone else pay the vanity tax. Buy the same car 2 years later for half the price and invest the difference in something that grows." That simple principle, applied consistently over a lifetime, can mean the difference between millions saved and millions wasted. The second thing is expensive brand clothing purchased for the sole purpose of status. I want to be very precise here. There is nothing wrong with quality clothing. The Torah actually commands us to dress respectfully, especially on Shabbat and holy days. But there is a vast difference between buying a well-made garment that will last you years and paying $3,000 for a shirt because it has a certain logo on it. When you buy clothing for status, you are not buying fabric. You are buying other people's approval. And the Talmud warns us repeatedly that chasing the approval of others is an endless pit. You will never fill it. I have counseled families who earn $500,000 a year and still feel poor because they spend $40,000 annually on designer clothing, trying to project an image of success. Real wealth whispers. It does not need a logo. The third thing is lottery tickets and any form of gambling. This one might seem obvious, but you would be shocked how many people, even wealthy people, waste money on lottery tickets. In Jewish law, gambling is not just financially foolish, it is considered a form of theft. The Talmud in Tractate Sanhedrin discusses why a gambler is disqualified from serving as a witness in court, because a person who relies on chance rather than effort has corrupted their understanding of how value is created. My grandfather never bought a single lottery ticket in his entire life. When someone once asked him why, he said, "God gave me a mind to build wealth through wisdom and work." To buy a lottery ticket is to tell God that his gifts are not enough. The fourth thing Jewish families never buy is unnecessary extended warranties and overpriced insurance products. Now listen carefully, because this is important. I am not saying insurance is bad. Protecting your family with health insurance, life insurance, proper home